Hello there, and welcome to the Bitcoin Takeover podcast. I am Vlad, and today I have a super special interview with a royalty among Bitcoiners. He is Nicolas Dorier, the emperor of BTCPay Server, the guy who said, "My faith in you is broken, I'm going to make you obsolete," in a reply to BitPay. And then just a few months later came up with BTCPay Server, and it has been 6 years since he launched BTCPay Server. It's one of the most integrated payments processors. It was even integrated in Tesla at one point for a month or something while they accepted Bitcoin payments. It is possibly the most popular payments processor that's open source, that collects no fee, is sort of like this open protocol that anyone can take and modify and use for their own purpose. And his idea started just from this decision by BitPay to do some mandatory KYC. So thank you very much, Nicolas. It's an honor to have you here.
It's an honor to be here, right?
Oh, the honor is on my side. And also part of the introduction is that every Bitcoiner is going to say that you have the best hair in Bitcoin except for myself.
No, I have the best hair in Bitcoin. That point. Like, did you see the 404 page on BTCPay Server?
Of course I know about that. Everyone knows about that.
Yep. I have the most beautiful hair.
Yeah, it's on a 404 page. I can't possibly argue with that. So let's talk about BTCPay. It's a big deal. I've also interviewed Andrew and Pavel. Their names are Cooks and Pavlinex. And it was in Riga that I got this. And I'm wearing this specifically for this interview. I've been told that
No, you wear it every day.
Oh, okay. Right? I wear it every day. Yeah. Yes, I never take it off.
You don't wash it. Take care of it.
Okay. So basically, if you ask Pavlinex how I got this, he's going to say that I stole it. Because we were in Riga, there was this box of t-shirts and there was this box of hoodies. And he told me, "Oh, you can take a t-shirt." And I was looking and thinking, "Oh, it's kind of cold. I don't want a t-shirt." So I put this hoodie on and asked him, "So what do you think?" And he was like, "No, that's only for contributors." You basically stole this. And I was like, I can take it off and you can have it back. And he and Cook said, "Oh, no, you can keep it. But next year you have to MC our post-Baltic Honey Badger event." And I was like, okay, it's a fair trade. I can do this.
They trapped you.
Yeah, but it was me who put it on, and they said, "Oh, we shouldn't leave this box here because people are gonna think they're for free, but they're only for coders who contribute to the project." So
that's also why you are interviewing us. It's like to pay back your debts.
Yes, I have to pay back for this beautiful hoodie that says BTCPay. It's kind of comfy and cozy. It's good for winter.
Yep. And logo made by my wife.
Oh, that's an interesting trivia about BTCPay. So your wife is the logo designer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Like a few months in the project, she said, "Oh, I can do a logo for you." So she made this one. And it's perfect, right? Everybody love it.
No, it's beautiful. And I like that it's not the stereotypical Bitcoin sort of business logo. So you're not trying to use the B from the Bitcoin logo. You have something of your own. It looks like mountains if you turn it around 90 degrees, it looks like mountains.
Yep.
Or boobs, depending on what you're
boobs,
into.
Yeah, I was going to say it, yeah. My French spirit see boobs first, but I say mountain.
Okay, so what other trivia do you have about BTCPay? You started this 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of interesting information.
So on top of my mind, like I don't have too much trivia about that. Well, a trivia I got, but it's maybe more than 6 years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I was hanging around on Bitcoin Talk at the time, and at one point I wrote kind of like a sort of article about what I don't remember how I called that, but open companies or something like this. I was calling it, like where I didn't talk specifically about making a Bitcoin payment processor, but I was talking about how to make some sort of API that is a standard for exchanges to talk among each other or something like this. Let me browse my post. Holy shit, I have 45 pages of posts on Bitcoin Talk. Can you believe it? I don't remember any of them.
Can I put this in the interview?
Yeah. I did so much useless stuff. For example, what I'm seeing right now, I tried to make a BIP to propose a standard to be able to easily remember a Bitcoin address. Looking back, it was so silly.
Yeah, thinking about it, something like vanity addresses, you can do it with BIP47, I think, the paynames or whatever.
Yes, it was at the time where the address reuse was very prevalent. I just check on GitHub. I remember having made a repo at one point, but I don't remember if I removed it or not. Oh yeah, I did. Holy shit! I did a standard. So remember is your own Bitcoin address. Remember any payment URL BIP70, so that's now completely dead. And a way to remember your own Stills address. So I don't remember if you remember what it was about. So it was kind of reusable address, but that on-chain doesn't appear to be a reused at all. Holy shit. Okay. Oh man, I will leave it there. I don't find it again. What I wanted to talk about. No, yeah, it's not here anymore. Yeah, never mind.
Okay, let me ask the question again. You can come up with a different answer.
Yeah.
Or no, let me ask another question.
I don't know. I don't have any specific trivia, I think. So that come to my mind.
But you could say something as basic as right now we have 20 open source contributors or something. I don't know. 20 is a made up number. I don't know how many you have.
It's trivia. Yeah. Number of contributor. Wallet of Satoshi use BTCPay Server.
Interesting. So why would a custodial wallet like Wallet of Satoshi integrate BTCPay in its backend?
I have no clue. I just know they are using us, but I don't have any clue. Like Bitrefill using not BTCPay Server, but so BTCPay Server rely on a UTXO tracker. We call that is called NBitExplorer, and Bitrefill using this, for example. So it's kind of like same base as BTCPay Server. It's kind of interesting, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And let me take this a little bit back, because before you did BTCPay Server, you are the creator and maintainer of NBitcoin. And I don't know how many people remember that, but you're also one of the first to activate SegWit. And you also participated in the scaling debate as a developer who gave his opinion on how to activate SegWit. I guess this is an entirely different life for you.
Yes, yeah. Like before BTCPay Server, it was definitely different life. Like lots of my work was more, let's say, technical. Like everything I built on Bitcoin, it's kind of layer above layer above layer. When I started Bitcoin, I was really at the bottom layer, understanding the protocol and trying to replicate it in C#. And along the year, I basically made this library bigger and bigger, like trying to support more and more stuff about what the community was doing. Then after building other tools like NBitcoin, which is an UTXO tracker, and then other project that's use this NB Explorer, like for example BTCPay Server. So it's like I'm building all of those layers along the year, and maybe I don't know. Maybe my next step will be building something on top of BTCPay Server. So it's kind of like a big tower of stuff I built, and yeah, I'm quite proud of it. Only thing that most people know is of course BTCPay Server, and maybe for those using Wallet of Satoshi maybe is more famous than us now. But at the end they're relying on all these stacks. So I'm quite proud of it, and keep building it. For now, I have no plan to build something on top of BTCPay Server, but maybe one day we'll see.
No, I think right now BTC Pay is the benchmark for payments processors. I also know that there's LNbits, which has a similar approach to it, but uses different libraries. And there's also Lipa, which is from Switzerland, and I interviewed them and they said, oh, BTC Pay Server is too complicated and they want to build something simpler for businesses to adopt.
It's always start like this. It's always start like this. Then you have one user who say, it's super great, it's super simple, but I need only this little thing here, like this, simple button that you can add here. And then 6 years later, you are like on a huge project like us, and things are. You try to make it simpler, and most of the time is you spend it adding feature, of course, but making things simpler as well. Just like complexity, how can I say? The more time pass, the more like the code base become complex, and yeah, it's kind of not specific to Bitcoin. It's kind of how software in general evolve. It's like this.
Wasabi Wallet is unfairly private. It's the most advanced, most used Bitcoin privacy wallet, with 500,000 downloads across Windows, macOS and Linux, as well as thousands of fresh and new Bitcoins get mixed every month. Wasabi makes use of the new generation Wabi-Sabi engine to create mega conjoins, thus mixing your Bitcoins with those of hundreds of other users. For amounts lower than 0.01 BTC and remixes, you pay no coordination fee. If you don't use the conjoins, Wasabi Wallet has a native Tor integration and downloads block filters to help you keep your network level and public key privacy. Download Wasabi Wallet for free today at wasabiwallet.io and experience the future of Bitcoin privacy. Future of Bitcoin privacy. Future of Bitcoin. Future of Bitcoin. Future of Bitcoin. Future of Bitcoin privacy.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, like a random piece of trivia. And let me see if I can put it here on the screen, because I'm not sure if you remember how Cooks came to the team, how he became part of the contributing team to BTC Pay. Do you remember that?
My memory is so shit.
Don't say it's shit. It's a bit muddy, fuzzy, whatever. So
yeah. Oh fuck. Okay, I'm learning this. So actually, this is a super trivia because I didn't remember that.
Okay, so Cooks, for the people listening on Spotify who don't see this, Andrew Cooks, back in February 12 of 2018, he made his first commit by reporting an issue to the BTCPay Server repository. And he said, considering Ethereum is the second largest coin in terms of market cap, it makes sense to integrate. You have an amazing project going. And he received 2 likes by No Greedy and B Jits, and then you replied on the same day, and you said Ethereum is too different in design and consumes too many resources for owning a full node. It is unlikely BTCPay will ever support it. And he gave you this. Was it him? No, I don't think it was him who gave you this sad face. And Andrew said, if you could guide us a bit through the current architecture, I would be willing to give it a shot. Smiley face. So basically, this is the way that he decided to contribute. And then Rockstar Dev says, Cooks, here is the video Nicolas Dorier made when he was adding Litecoin as template for altcoin support as some sort of documentation to prove how it's done. And Cook said, I'm guessing I would need to abstract away NB Explorer since the API calls and system is different. Le Pipele? I'm not sure what this is.
Le Pipele is Rockstar Dev.
Oh, okay. Any thoughts? And then you told him, yes, you can try. I think it is a large undertaking, though. Just keep in mind that it is important the people host their own node and do not rely on a public API. I'm making some refactoring to make it easier to add non-Bitcoin related currencies right now. It might be easier for you to add then. And then he said, that sounds great. Let me know if you need anything from my side with help. And this is how it started.
You know, that's kind of funny because one of his work, like very recently, maybe last week and like in the next week, has been to try to pluginify like all the shitcoin stuff. So basically getting all the shitcoin out of BTCPay core. The idea is that all the shitcoin are inside plugins, and then plugins are maintained by the communities of those shitcoin, so that we don't have to deal with it anymore. So it's kind of fun because when you enter in Bitcoin, he was in BTCPay Server. It seems he was like trying to integrate shitcoins. Now he's like the one that trying to take them away.
Yeah, it's interesting how he started contributing to the project. I looked this up. I was on his GitHub repository. Last year when I did an interview with him, I did my homework and I looked up to see when he started contributing to the project. And I was like, oh, this guy wanted to add Ethereum to BTCPay. And I guess along the way, he lost interest and realized, okay, the mission is different here. We need to do something else.
I just posted it on our internal chat to remind him of his roots.
You have the link to it?
To what?
To the issue.
No.
It's issue number 50.
No. I just screenshot and send it to him.
Oh, tell him it's part of the podcast. I'm sure he will appreciate it.
Yeah.
I sent you the link also if you want to read once again and think about the old days. And also Pavlenex, I can tell you what his first contribution was.
You sent it?
And Pavlenex made a proposal to integrate U2F authentication via Trezor and Ledger hardware wallets. So I guess his proposal was more tame. Let me share the screen with you. This was back in March 1st of 2018. These guys basically came to the project 1 month apart from each other, and now they're inseparable. So you have this first proposal. It was issue number 53. Cooks was 50, Pavlenex was 53. Add U2F verification to further secure the server login. Currently, there is a 2FA authentication, which is a great way to secure online accounts, but I would like to suggest adding U2F authentication via Ledger or Trezor to further enhance the security of the server login. And Rockstar Dev said it's related to number 27, and he moved the discussion. And I think this is where it ended.
It started.
Yeah, I mean, the conversation ended, but you had this process.
And Cooks did it.
And Cooks did it. He self-assigned in April of 2019, so a year later. Interesting.
Wait. So it's Pavlenex here, but actually the first account of GitHub of Pavlenex was Bitcoin Church.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I don't know if he renamed his account or like created a new account. Let me check.
I can look at his GitHub and tell you that it has existed since 2018, which means that probably he switched to this new one.
Okay, wait, let me check then. GitHub Bitcoin shirts.
But it's a lot of fun to reminisce and see, okay, this is where it all started. Some of the most active contributors of today had these first ideas, and you didn't even remember how they started contributing. I guess you see so many people coming and asking questions, and only a few of them stick around.
Yeah, that's here this and as well. Like my memory is really shit. So yeah, it's interesting to remind that.
Yeah. And what was it like? I want to ask you this because during the scaling debate in 2017, when it was this proposal for SegWit, it was proposed under 3 or 4 different BIPs, and you're one of the developers as the creator and maintainer of NBitcoin. You're one of the people who was asked which way he prefers to activate it. And what was it like back in the day? This was around the time when Bitcoin Cash forked off and there was the proposal for SegWit 2x coming. And I guess it was tense.
Like to be honest, like the only time where I lost faith in Bitcoin, like where really I started saying, "Oh shit, it's going bad. I need to sell." It has been a bit before BCH, so maybe it was like in May or I don't remember exactly, but I think it was a bit before this war. Like I saw like this trouble coming, and it was the first time where I feared for Bitcoin actually. And I don't really remember about which soft fork activation mechanism I choose, because there was like different one with different pros and cons. I think I really didn't really care too much about the way of activating it too strongly. I was just strongly opposed to the B2X, like just bumping the block size by 2. That was my main concern. And I was for SegWit, yeah. But the activation, I don't remember. I had strong position. There was something I was preferring, but like whichever was okay for as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I have a list here. I just need to look for your name. It's on the Bitcoin Wiki, which presents the SegWit support. I'm going to share the screen right now so you can look with me.
I don't even remember if I filled this one.
Oh, you didn't? I know that Adam Nopara is here. He was working on TumbleBit at the time. So let's see if you are here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, up.
Yeah,
Stop.
here.
Yeah.
You're listed as a core contributor. You said you prefer SegWit itself with BIP 141. And for deployment methods, you said you prefer or you find acceptable BIP 149. I don't even know exactly the difference between them. But
I don't really remember,
You presented your opinion here, but you also had no opinion on SegWit 2x and COOP.
Oh no, I was completely against that. Like I think just people didn't feel it. I remember even at the time I created a website called BIP XDevs, where the developer could sign their preference on the website. It's on my GitHub actually. I find it. It's a very old website, but people didn't really use it too much. But it was a way for developer to sign with their PGP keys what they were preferring.
Yeah, this was back in the summer of 2017, and the developers were working and voting on their preferred way to activate SegWit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we haven't really had anything like this since.
Yeah, but I was definitely against SegWit 2x. Like it's basically what made me start BTCPay Server. So. Yeah.
Oh, really? Because I thought it was the fact that BitPay added some mandatory KYC.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they were on the S2x clan. Like they were trying to impose SegWit 2x to their merchants without telling them that they will run a fork of Bitcoin, basically. So basically trying to migrate their merchant without explaining they will migrate basically on some shitcoin. And I was against this. So that's why I started BTCPay Server. So yeah, it was a reaction against SegWit 2x, yeah.
It's interesting. So this is the best trivia about BTCPay. It came out of the fork wars.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely what kicks in. Like I said, like it was the only time where I feared about the future of Bitcoin. Like nothing else that happened of all the crash in Bitcoin. Like I never got very bothered by it, but only this time, like I was scared. So I got very good strong incentive to move my ass and try to do something so that people don't depend on those providers.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the price went up like 4 or 5 times until December.
Yes.
But, guys today can look at you and be like, oh, he had such weak hands, no conviction, blah, blah, blah. But probably they were not even around. And
yeah. Like I didn't. So I remember at the time I sold a bit, but after like basically the war was kind of over. I don't remember exactly when. I think it was in September, where like the fork that they did crashed one block before the activation, and I think like they figured it out a bit before, and they kind of backed off. And I think at this time, like it's when I was feeling more confident about the future of Bitcoin. And then after, I remember the price has gone up a bit. Yeah, it was pretty intense time. I hope we don't have to do that kind of shit again.
It was interesting to see the developers coming together and voting. And now if you look at the list, you realize how unpopular SegWit 2x really was.
Oh yeah. It was like but like I said, my memory is kind of bad, so I guess the developers that were for it kind of disappeared afterward, and I don't remember them. So some developer at the time that was open source in Bitcoin, one was what was he called, Ryan X Shaw. I just remember him.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember what. Yeah, I don't remember what he was doing, but I remember he was a Reddit developer guy, and he was into that. And after he kind of, I don't know, I completely dropped out of my radar, so kind of forgot what he did. I remember he was on BSV at one point, but yeah, it's all I remember. But yeah, it was most developers were for just SegWit. Most big companies were for SegWit 2x. Most miner was for SegWit 2x. So yeah, it was, and most user, I think lots of users didn't really care at all. But like the user that was kind of fanatic about Bitcoin in general, like was more for SegWit, even if they, part of them like have gone with BCH, of course, but I don't think it was a majority.
CryptoSteel offers a durable, physical backup for cryptocurrency key and recovery words. These user-friendly cold storage devices withstand harsh conditions, including fires, floods, and earthquakes. Made from the finest European stainless steel, they are built to last. Accessible to all and requiring no computer skills, the original CryptoSteel cassette and capsule have been innovating Bitcoin security since 2013. They provide a reliable and robust backup, essential for the safety and longevity of your digital investments. Ideal for protecting your digital wealth. CryptoSteel isn't just a one-trick pony. Of course, it works with your Beep39 seed phrase, but you can also use it for important passwords, Bitcoin core passphrases, Nostr private keys, and much more. Buy your CryptoSteel metal backup today from cryptosteel.com and use promo code BTCTKVR to get a 10% discount. CryptoSteel, secure your Bitcoin like an OG.
It's also interesting you had Jeff Garzik, who has been a
Jeff
developer.
Garzik, yes.
At the time, he had been a developer for 6 or 7 years, and this was 2017. Yes. And he was also the first one to propose a block size increase back in 2010 or something. And Satoshi saw that and told him, it's too early for stuff like this. Don't make consensus breaking changes to the code because everyone else is going to be on another chain and it's a waste of effort. And he was the architect of SegWit 2x. He was the guy who coded, but he was also the guy who gave up on it afterwards.
Yes. He's the one that had this one-off bug during the activation of their node as well. But it's a wild time.
I did hear that might have been on purpose. He might have self-sabotaged the project when he realized that it's not happening. Because it gave the community... So when he saw that the reaction was so hostile, maybe he didn't want to break Bitcoin and was like, okay, I'm gonna develop something buggy on purpose so people will say it also sucks, technically.
I don't know, because maybe, but he got some shitty idea after. I don't remember what as well. They on Bitcoin, like where I think there was something where you could. He had another idea on Bitcoin that was kind of spamming the chain as well. A very block, I think it was called something like this. I don't remember, but he had like some kind of shitty idea as after. So I will not. I don't think he did it on purpose, but maybe I'm wrong. But it was not his only shitty idea. Yeah, what was it? Very block, I think it was called. What? Very block.
Very block, a project by former Bitcoin developer Jeff Garzik, but I think it's an altcoin right now. It's VBK. Pretty sure it's dead by now.
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, it's dead. But my point is that he had like a other kind of stupid idea that didn't work out. So. I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, this bug, but I would be surprised if it was. But I don't even know. Maybe if there was no bug, like maybe it will not have changed anything either.
I don't know, but that bug was, for someone who has been working on Bitcoin for such a long time, all he had to do was just activate SegWit on a 2 megabyte fork. So it wasn't rocket science,
Yeah.
You just change one with 2 and then put SegWit on top. And it's not like SegWit was not...
They wanted to change as well the activation mechanism, and the activation mechanism was where there was a bug, I think.
Yeah, the best part about it is that they did not push it further. They gave up and said, okay, it's not happening. The New York agreement fell apart. They said, there's a big block fork. Maybe use that if you want bigger blocks.
Yeah.
Because after SegWit 2x was dropped, BCH also had its moment. I think that's when it reached its all-time high. And that's when Vitalik put out that tweet with, congrats on this, seriously? And it became such a meme.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so detached those days. I was a shitcoiner, not caring about anything. I was reading stuff on CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, and it was super confusing. There was a huge conflict of interest, obviously. And at the time, they didn't even have to disclose anything that they are part of the agreement or that they have an interest in this whole situation. So it was confusing. Yeah. Plus, there was that whole Bitcoin.com situation with the website promoting Bitcoin Cash. And I was still pretty new to the whole scene. So I was not I did not understand what's happening, but it's part of a decentralized project. You know, you have lots of participants that have different vested interests, and they're going to promote their own agenda. And it was maybe too much for my brain to process at the time, but now I get it. It's confusing for the newbies, but otherwise.
I think probably like 70% of people in Bitcoin like didn't give a shit anyway, you know, really the people that was passionate about that are really the people that have been in Bitcoin for a long time and that understand the technology. And I don't think at the time it was like the majority of people. So yeah, it was. But for people that knew what was going on, like it was very stressful indeed.
Yeah. And before NBitcoin, or at the same time as NBitcoin, you published a book on how to develop Bitcoin project in C#. And it was that one book that was read by Adam, NoPara73. And he was inspired to start working on Wasabi Wallet. And he built Wasabi Wallet in C# specifically because he learned from you. And
yeah, so
I'm not going to say that he idolizes you, but he respects you as a mentor.
Like it was so when I wrote NBitcoin, so NBitcoin really when I wrote it, it was at first it was as a learning experience for Bitcoin and grow up. And I wrote this book because I thought it was so before Bitcoin I was a Microsoft certified trainer. So I got lots of certification from Microsoft, and I was going to company to teach them how to code in .NET basically. And so teaching people was kind of part of my job before. So I said, okay, I will try to make this book, and maybe I will try to give some courses in Bitcoin and get remunerated for that. So I wrote this book, and Adam like read it and also moved it to a Gitbook. That was a very good idea to do that. And he really liked it, and he also came. So I came in Japan, I think in 2015 or 16, I don't know, it's 15, I think. And at the time he was kind of traveling in Asia, and he came to Tokyo to work where I was working, and we were kind of in a small co-working space. And it was before Wasabi Wallet, and the name of his wallet was Hidden Wallet. And he was working with a very early technology to do UI in .NET that is called Avalonia. It was very new technology. And myself, I was not very sure that this project could go far, but like Adam never gave up. Like it took time. Like when Wasabi Wallet like released, actually Adam was maybe working on it for like 1 year or 1 year and a half. Like he did lots of work even before the first version of Wasabi Wallet, and he never changed his mind. You know, it was always, oh, I want to go do this. Like look at those shitty centralized mixer that are making so much money and they are shit. I will improve that. And he was always like focused only on this. And it's he kind of I think that's why Wasabi has been very successful, is that he never spread his attention. It was always his thing, and it's why it has gone so far. And he never got scared about like not having any user for like several years. He just wanted to make it better until it can get you. So he has lots of credit for that.
Yeah, and I think he also deserves credit for the fact that he invested a lot of money in hiring developers. It wasn't just about releasing this project and abandoning it. He strived to make it much better all the time. And I respect him for this. Yep. He got some cryptographers to look at the code and improve it. Now he has Wabi Sabi, and he's thinking way ahead in terms of how this is going to scale for mobile and stuff like that.
And he also really played well in protecting himself, legally speaking. So that was one thing as well that I was worried about making this type of software was the legal liabilities, and he found a way to make sure it will be okay. And so far so good, I will say, and I believe he's kind of safe on that. But it took some harsh decision to make it so, and yeah, it's impressive, very impressive.
Yeah, weren't you guys involved in Stratis or something like that?
Yeah, so Stratis is a shitcoin that has been everything that is Bitcoin, I call that shitcoin. I had a bit of respect for Stratis because I know some of the devs there. And some of the devs there, like they are very good .NET coder. Like I know them, they were serious in what they were doing. But of course, I will not advise to anybody to put money on that. And
it's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's dead. Like the way we collaborated was I was working on TumbleBit at the time. And basically, TumbleBit was working in a command line, and for TumbleBit we needed one of big issue was having a liquidity pool. So you need to have a tumbler basically, and having a tumbler is kind of very big liability concern. And Stratis said, okay, we will develop a wallet. UI also on top of Avalonia. It's kind of the same. I think it was Avalonia or was it Electron? I'm not sure. But they did a wallet and they say, oh, it's for or altcoin. And I say, I don't touch that. I want only to work on Bitcoin. And they say, okay, that's fine. Our wallet will support both Bitcoin and Stratis. And so on my side, I work on the TumbleBit integration in their wallets on top of Bitcoin. And they asked me as well to make a full node in .NET, a Bitcoin full node on .NET. I never really believed in it because making a full node is lots of work. And indeed, even the work I did, the node could not sync fast enough, basically. Like it was not, the performance was not great. But they sure put lots of effort onto it. So on my side, I was more on the back end, but they did a very good UI on top of it. So they were very serious onto making it. But of course, the problem of TumbleBit is that nobody wanted to be the tumbler. And it's where Wasabi Wallet kind of did it right. Wasabi Wallet was also a tumbler, and Adam did right to protect himself, legally speaking. So it's how it was working on. And I don't regret to have worked with them. I met very wonderful developers there, and I have still good relation with some of them. And it's basically it's a shitcoin. I need to say what it is. And I also regret to not have become more strongly. So one of the way that shitcoiners are doing is that they are really using their name to pump their bag. And so I saw it a bit, I think I was not strict enough about that. Like, for example, on their website, on the Stratis website, they made it appear that I was one of the main guy behind Stratis when I was not. Basically, they were. I got money working on the TumbleBit integration, but I never wanted to pump their bag, basically. And same thing. At one point, I was on Crunchbase. I think they put me on the Stratis organization. So I didn't like that, and I should have, in Insight, I should have been more strict about this.
Yeah, on the plus side, with all of that money that was made with Stratis, we had some cool projects that were built for Bitcoin. So morally speaking, yes, you can say, oh, it was evil because it was a shitcoin, and of course it didn't work because it had some unrealistic ideas for how to implement stuff. But the interface for Avalonia and the base layer of Wasabi, to put it like this, because TumbleBit is the project from which Wasabi originates. And without all of that research that was made at the time, we wouldn't have these Bitcoin projects right now. I'm not sure about BTCPay. I'm not sure if your work with Stratus or TumbleBit helped you fund your work for BTCPay later. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, indirectly, yes, because like when a library gets used, basically I incorporate the feedback and improve the library. So indirectly, yes, the work has been done there that improves the library, and that was definitely used for the project, like for NB Explorer. And like seeing some. For example, trying to implement a Bitcoin full node in C# like teach me that it was a bad idea. Already I knew it, but trying to do it, I found out it was a really bad idea. So like I think not everything is not bad. And I don't regret any of it. The only thing I regret, of course, is not having been strong enough to say, okay, don't put my name too much on this project, because I don't want to pump your bike, basically.
Yeah, anyway, we've lost half of the listeners here. Not because it's a talk about Stratus, but because they don't even remember that. It was way before the time when most people joined Bitcoin. It was the golden age of creating sandboxes. If you had this idea for Bitcoin and it was not getting integrated, it was so easy to make a fork and release it. And there have been lots of these experiments. Yes. In hindsight, I think 90-something% of them proved that it was a bad idea in the beginning. So it was not worth pursuing. But sometimes you have some very interesting research that goes into it. For example, I'm proud of what the guys from Zcash have done. And I'm not saying you should buy Zcash. I'm just saying that the foundation that develops that coin has created Halo 2, which is a cryptographic system for very small transactions within shielded privacy environment. So it's like some sort of mixing pool, and within that mixing pool, the average transaction is smaller than 200 bytes. And one transaction on Bitcoin, which is SegWit based with one input and two outputs, is 220 bytes. So they were able to make privacy scalable, which is admirable. It's something that's worth researching.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, but the thing is that in Bitcoin, there is already so many things. Like, there was always a point like, oh, why you don't look what other coins are doing? And my main reason is that I don't have time. Like, even following everything that is done on Bitcoin, I don't have time to follow everything. So even in BTCPay Server, like, there is stuff that I don't understand. I didn't code it. I don't have time to follow everything. So the question is like, how can I best spend my time? And best spending my time is definitely not looking into shitcoin. Maybe there is good idea there. Maybe, I don't know. If there is good idea, I guess at one point I will hear about it. But I think that there is so much more stuff to do on Bitcoin that I don't spend too much time looking around on other coins.
Yeah, this is an interesting paradox, because you have the average YouTuber who talks about crypto, and they're gonna say, yeah, of course, I know about this project, and I know about that other project, and look, there's news about this and that, and the newcomer is gonna think that they're super genius experts who know everything about everything. But they're not specialized. They just look on the surface of stuff, and they talk in a language that seems occult and very smart for people who come from outside of the space. And they're gonna say, oh, this guy knows stuff. That's how BitBoy, for example, the Ben Armstrong or whatever his name is, that's how he gets so many viewers, because he gives people the impression that he's knowledgeable, and he also knows how to create drama around himself. But that's the second component. I think in Bitcoin we have Peter McCormack too. point to for practices like that. But it's interesting because if you really take the time, you're going to see that you can bury your entire day into researching one single project and even be unaware of what's happening, with other Bitcoin open source projects. Because you can work on BTCPay all day and not be aware of what's happening with, I don't know, NBitcoin, which is your direct competitor. Maybe you don't have time to look into that. It's a different library. It's different type of work.
Yeah, and I don't mind, the beauty of open source development is that because there is no permission behind it, like nobody can tell you what is a good idea to develop or not. And nobody knows the answer. The only way that we can reach the answer is by making lots of different experiments, and one of them will stick. And I don't know, maybe LNBit is a good idea. Maybe LNBit can replace BTCPay Server. I have no clue. I don't know. They might have other people that try to replace BTCPay Server with their own stuff. Like they can try. Maybe they will be right, but it's just I don't have time to see everything. About those people that's on YouTube looks very smart and talking those very complex things and kind of mislead noobs. As a technical person on my side, it never worked. Every time I listen to somebody and I don't understand it, either he's like a scammer and then I just move along. Sometimes it's just it's a topic that is above my pay grade. If you go to listen, for example, Andrew Postra talking about this crazy music stuff or Nick, I have no clue about what they are talking about, and I try to follow, but it's way above my pay grade. I'm not a mathematician, so I cannot follow easily. Or if I want to follow, I need to take one day what they can explain in 5 minutes. I need to take one day to understand every word. But I don't have time to do that. So it's if I don't understand, basically, I stop paying attention. The only exception is when Postra and Nick, for example, from Blockstream, I can't understand what they're talking about, but the nice thing is that they always try to make libraries about what they're doing. And by trying to use their libraries, because I'm a developer, I can use library, I come to understand what it does. So that's only way I manage to understand them, but else I don't spend, if I see I cannot understand, I just drop out and not put too much effort onto it. I just try to concentrate on what I can do best.
Yeah, and I think LNBits doesn't have support for on-chain payments, which BTCPay does, but it's specialized in Lightning. But what the two projects have in common is this WordPress type of approach to it, where you have plugins and you can add lots of functionality from different developers work on the project.
Yeah, so the main point of plugins, so we got this problem with BTCPay Server is that BTCPay Server, as I said, become bigger and bigger. And when a project become bigger, it means that it become more and more difficult to coordinate people. If you talk with Rockstar, then maybe he will bitch about that. Or Pavel next, he will bitch about that. But it's true, as the project grow, it becomes harder to communicate and to move information along. So the only way to try to scale development is to have a plugin system, because as soon as you have a plugin system, you allow people to develop functionality on top of your products, and you don't have to know what they're doing. As a developer of Bitcoin Core, I don't know what the plugin are doing. And I think it's good because it encourages experimentation. And if we see an idea that sticks, then we can implement it in BTCPay Server. So a typical idea has been NFC payments on BTCPay. It started out of a plugin that Cooks did. And Cooks is experiment. Is really we call him the mad scientist because he like experimenting new ideas. You know, they are not fully fleshed, but you just want to ship it, see how it goes. Okay, maybe it's half bugged, but we want to see how it goes. And the only way to do that properly in BTCPay Server is like to use the plugin system. And he did that for the NFC payments. And we found out lots of people like it and installed the plugin. So we say, okay, now we will back it into BTCPay Server and make it better. And everybody of us will like review code touching this. And that's great. That it has disadvantages because like the plugins are less reviewed. So for example, like recently there has been a bug on the LN Bank that caused some user to lose money if they had like the LN Bank plugin installed. One of the reasons is that LN Bank is a plugin, so it's only reviewed mainly by Dennis. But I will not throwing under the bus because like in BTCPay Server core, like we did lots of stuff and actually we had some bug that could have resulted in loss of funds. They have not been exploited because the good guy find it first, but it could have happened. So, but my point is that on plugins, there is even more chances happen because there is less people that look at it. But less people are looking at it, which means they can experiment faster. So it's, you know, there is no good answer. You know, there is nobody that can say what is the right mix of both. We just have to be not hiding the risk, not hiding the failure, like putting like the most information we can for people to take their own risk and their own decision, and like let them experiment.
Hello Bitcoin Takeover listeners, this is Victor from IVPN. We could have produced the flashy ad with lofty claims, but we like the straightforward approach, so I'll just stick to the basics here. How are we different from other VPN providers? IVPN is run by Bitcoiners. We've been accepting Bitcoin since before the block size wars, now using BTCPay Server, and also accept Lightning payments. We also aim for radical transparency supported by open source software, regular audits, and a transparent team. And finally, there's absolutely no KYC with IVPN. We don't ask for an email or any other personal information when you sign up. If you would like to test our service, send an email to trial@ivpn.net to receive a 30-day IVPN Pro voucher.
Hello, I'm Vlad and I have been a user of IVPN Pro for longer than 1 year. What I like the most about it is being able to use 7 devices at the same time and using the multi-hop feature to connect to 2 different servers of my choosing at the same time. Also, your account consists of a randomly generated string of letters and numbers which are not linked to your email address, bank account, or real-life identity. You top it up with a Lightning payment and you get instant confirmation at low fees. Definitely get your 30-day IVPN Pro trial by sending an email to trial@ivpn.net. Make sure you use a burner email address that you probably already have for trolling. Yeah, you reminded me of a quote, which is supposedly by yourself, and I heard about it from Adam Nopara, and he said that your famous quote about coding in Bitcoin is that mistakes on the mainnet are more memorable.
Yes, yes, yeah. It was in the book because in the book, like, so I learned when I was teaching to people in companies. I learned that people had way more attention when they have like really concrete exercise, and by concrete, because like very often, like if you try to do something that is too abstract, people lose attention. So it's only then something is concrete that people pay attention. And what is more concrete that risking $5 at the time? It was $5. What is more, motivating to get back your money? So, for example, when in Tokyo, I was teaching to a company I'm working now in Digital Garage in Japan, and at the time I didn't join them, but I was teaching them Bitcoin. And there was a team like of 5 members, I think. And during the course, like I said, like you will all give me like $10, and I will send you Bitcoin on your Bitcoin address that you generated with your key. Now, at the end of these courses, you will be able to get it back, like to send back the money, and I can give back the fiat to you. And it's kind of like make them very attentive to not lose their money, and like it's fun. I mean, when you're, when it's not a drill, it's always more fun. You have kind of the adrenaline running.
You did mention your book, and it is my duty right now to share the screen, which shows the community edition version of programming the blockchain in C#. You're using the OG Bitcoin logo.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the one that Satoshi made, but it's something in the middle between the two designs. Satoshi had B and C instead of this $B on the coin.
Yes.
And I see that you have the book translated in Indonesian, Japanese, and Korean, which is impressive.
Yes. I think in Indonesia was so much fun. Like one day, one guy opened a pull request with all the translation. He didn't say a word, like no comment no comment at all in the GitHub. Like he just pushed it, and like okay, we'll just like put it. But it was kind of fun to see.
So I see that in the introduction you have these chapters: why blockchain programming and not Bitcoin programming. Why this book, complementary reading, license, project setup, why
like on the left you can see this is only the introduction. So on the left you can see, for example, for Bitcoin transfer, key generation, change of ownership. At the time there was stuff about Chloride coins. So yeah.
You worked on Colored coins?
Stuff. Oh yeah. Long time ago I was working on Chloride coins. It was on the Open Asset Protocol specifically.
Interesting.
So I'm covering it in this.
Yeah, it's here. Colored coins. Yeah, it's so succinct, so concise.
Yeah, like issuing, for example, if you look the next look issuing assets, you will see there is codes, there is drawing, there is diagrams. See, like there is some code. I did also lots of diagram. I don't know if you have seen here. Yeah, there's some diagram here. Like there's been lots of effort in this book, and I think it helped lots of people. Like now lots of content is kind of outdated, I will say. Like for example, nobody uses Chloride coin anymore.
They do.
Yeah, I mean
they're
with
ordinal inscriptions now.
Yeah, so it's but yeah, like the Open Asset Protocol I was working on is kind of not used anymore. But yeah, it's I think one day I should take time to write another book. But same thing. Most of my time these days is on BTCPay Server. So
yeah, it can be called programming BTCPay Server in C#.
Yes.
But I do recall, I'm gonna get back to colored coins because that's an interesting discussion. But I do recall during the pandemic in 2020. Rockstar Dev was hosting seminars every Saturday, I think, and it was on the YouTube channel BTCPay, and it was also on Twitter. And he was showing people how to contribute to BTCPay, how to code, and stuff like that. And I attended a couple of them. All I had to do was just watch a YouTube video. I think it's still up there. I didn't understand too much from it, but I thought it was interesting, and I think that a new wave of developers was created with that initiative. Maybe that 50 people watched, but of these 50 people, maybe 10 of them became developers and probably are making a lot of money today.
I hope so. So one of the annoyance that Rockstar Dev got about this subject. So I think his session was pretty good, and but one of the problem he got, so there was some people, some interns that he tried to guide to work on BTCPay Server, and very often what's going on is that to onboard a new developer require lots of attention and like feedback. You know, you need to see what they are doing. You need to review their PR. You need to explain them what's going on and everything. It's lots of effort. And in like 90% of case, like at the end of the intern, like the intern was like, okay, bye. And like, we will not see them again. And like after spending so much effort. So I think like for Rockstar Dev, it was pretty hard. I think the model that he did with the session on YouTube is better because it's like broadcasted to more people, and like if somebody want to onboard, then we have somewhere to send them. You know, we are kind of scaling Rockstar Dev in a way. So yeah, I think it was a great idea. I don't know about. I know it's feedback mostly on people he directly tried to mentor. But I don't know why he stopped doing this other session. I think it was pretty good, but maybe he covered everything he wanted to cover. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, and let's go back to colored coins, because that's sort of a big deal today. You have these ordinal inscriptions, which are the new generation of colored coins. Few people remember colored coins and can refer to that. It was colored coins, it was counterparty, it was the Omni layer, but before Omni, what was it called? Mastercoin. And now
Open assets.
Open assets, yeah. We have all of these protocols that historically have tried to build something on Bitcoin that is not necessarily Bitcoin. But it seems like they were forgotten, and now that ordinal inscriptions came around, people act like, oh, this is something new, when in fact
it's not, been
around for a decade.
Like it's like ERC20, like to people, like those tokenization. It's like Ethereum that invented it, and like as OG, we are like, no, like it was existing forever on Bitcoin. So it's nothing new. So that's why I'm not excited by it, because I think it will end up like the other protocols. You know, it will like people are excited now for some reason. I'm not sure why. But I think it will starve. Like at one point they will stop using it. Like I don't see any other way.
Yeah, I did see that you tweeted that the fee increase is not organic.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, like if you want to see real organic usage of the chain, normally what should happen is like, you know, people start using it and you see slowly like it's getting bigger and bigger. But instead what's going on is that the mempool was full. Then suddenly, like, I think it was somebody that posted a bot that was kind of front running the tickers or something like this. And suddenly, like the traffic go down and like the mempool is almost empty. And then suddenly it starts again. So it's not something that is organic. It's something that is sudden. And so it means two things. It's either like a hype. And if it's a hype, it will pass by itself. Like you know, we got the NFT hype on Ethereum, and it passed by itself. Or it's like somebody that is trying to purposefully, like trying to spam the blockchain for some reason. I have no fucking idea what passed by their head. Or maybe it's a bit of both. You know, they say, oh, we will do that on Bitcoin, so it's like piece of the maximalist. I don't know. For me, it's like completely mysterious. But anyway, I think I will be more patient than them. And I will end up like consolidating with 1 Satoshi per byte at the end of the day. So I'm not too bothered. Just have to be patient.
Yeah, you did touch upon a very sensitive topic there, because is it really spam if they're paying a fee? Because the fee itself is the anti-spam mechanism.
Like I call it spam because I think it's all shit, but like I'm against trying to do something against it. That's my point. I call it spam. I think it's shit. I think it's better if it's not there. I think it's like hurting the network and all those things. But on the other way, I think it should, like, nothing should be done against it from Bitcoin Core side. For people that want to block it, so there is like some talk about mining pools trying to block it. Like I think it's Ocean Mining or stuff like this. my point is, I think it's up to the miner to decide what they do. And there is, I think, Stratum V2 that try to give this power to individual miners. And if individual miners had this power, then there is no more drama. The only drama we got is because like some mining pool decide to enforce those rules. That's it.
No, it's more than that. But it's pretty good marketing for that mining pool, for the record. Everyone's talking about them, even though they only mined 2 blocks since they started.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I'm annoyed by it, but I don't think anything should be done for it. Nothing should be done at the Bitcoin core layer, for sure. And like if some people in the community want to modify their node to block those transactions, or some miners decide to filter the transaction, I think they should be able to do it if they want. But I don't think it's something that as a community we need to say, oh, we need to fight against it. I don't think there is anything to fight against.
I agree with you. I mean, the fact that they pay such high fees for the stuff that may or may not get market traction only proves that they value the Bitcoin network enough to do it on the base layer. And if somebody else objects and says, yeah, they shouldn't be paying such small fees for what they're doing, then the answer is, why don't you outbid them? Because this is what the block space is. It's available out there, and that goes to the highest bidder. So if you don't want these people to get it cheaply, the best mechanism is to use the free market to outbid them, to make it expensive for them to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And there is also, there was lots of NFT on Ethereum, of course. And what happened is that some lower fee chain like Polygon that appeared to try to get their NFT hype. And I'm wondering, if I had more time, I would try to port everything that the ordinal community did on Litecoin, and try to market it as a superior alternative to Bitcoin, so they can move to another chain. But yeah, I'm more busy on BTCPay Server, so I don't.
There's already Litecoin ordinals, so
okay.
Someone ported it. It's nothing new. It's just that nobody really uses Litecoin for that because they don't see the value, right? They're not sure if the stuff is going to be there, even though Litecoin is probably the best. I'm going to say something very blasphemous here, but Litecoin has a lot of adoption at ATMs, exchanges and stuff. So when the fees are high in Bitcoin, you can safely use Litecoin because it's been around for 12 or 13 years or something. So it works. It has its own proof of work algorithm. It has dedicated miners. It even secures Dogecoin. I'm not saying you should buy or use Litecoin or Dogecoin. I'm just saying that if you want to make payments with low fees, it's more reliable than something like Liquid, which has no merchant adoption, no ATM support, no nothing. You have to swap it. So at one point, you do have to make an on-chain transaction, which is right now very expensive. But where was I going with this?
Yeah, that's using another chain for this kind of use case make sense. And it's kind of like in some of my tweets, actually, I touched a bit the subject where I said we should apologize to all the bad things we said to Ethereum, because like in a way, Ethereum kind of protected us from all of this stuff. Like for a while, everything was on Ethereum. And we could enjoy lower fee thanks to this. So, I will not pun them, but in a way, I'm glad they exist because, else not if everything will be on Bitcoin, it will be way more expensive. So, why not? They can use it. I mean, I will not store my money there, but if other people do, why not?
Yeah, you have a chapter in your book that's called Proof of Burn and Reputation. And what I can tell you is that Casey Rodermore, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, has created this protocol which allows you to teleburn your Ethereum NFTs and then inscribe them on Bitcoin. So he has commodified this, made it possible for people to burn their tokens, because that's what an NFT is, on other chains, and bring it as an ordinal inscription. And if you look at some of these assets on ordinals.com or whatever, you're going to see that there is a classification there to see if they have been teleburned from other chains, and most of them are. And I think right now the guys who spent a lot of money to create NFTs on Ethereum and put them on OpenSea and whatever are seeing an opportunity to do it on Bitcoin, which they know is proof of work, which they know has higher value and is going to be around for a much longer time than Ethereum. Possibly it will outlive us. So they see a lot of potential, and they are willing to pay high fees for this, because you never know when this marketplace is going to blow up. Maybe not in a couple of years, but I guess you're old enough and you have been around for long enough to remember rare Pepes and Spells of Genesis and stuff like that. In its time, they were giving them away for free, just trading them within a small community. And then all of a sudden there was a boom. There was a Pepe coin, Pepe Cash, I think that's what it was called. And even after that one, which was in 2017 or 2018, 3 or 4 years later, it came back. And right now there are collectors of rare Pepes. And I'm not sure if culturally we're going to have phenomena like rare Pepe, other collections that are just as relevant, maybe Bored Apes or whatever. But it can happen. That's what I'm saying. These markets are not entirely rational. They're based more on the emotional attachment of someone to some sort of asset that was issued on a blockchain. And it's just collectors trading stuff. It's a small niche, and not too many people understand this. Is Bitcoin designed for this? No. Can it do this very well? Yes. Can we stop it? Yes, if we had privacy. I think this is my argument. This is, if you don't like this, the best way to stop it is to add confidential transactions. And you don't have to add the 2014 research from Blockstream, which was added into Liquid and makes transactions a dozen times larger.
Why do you think like a confidential transaction can stop that?
Because that's what is going to make the currency truly fungible. And if you don't know where it comes from, you're not going to be able to distinguish between coins.
So in Liquid, typically, like confidential asset, like is hiding the amount and is hiding the asset that is being transmitted, but you still have the transaction graph that is well alive. So even that is not totally fungible. Like it's still, even if like, my point is that even if, like, it's one thing to make a currency that can be fungible, and another thing to make a currency that make it impossible to make something fungible. I think if somebody is dedicated to use the currency in a non-fungible way, they can do it. For the fact so long as they can embed some arbitrary data on the blockchain, I think they will always be able to do so. I think that's inevitable. So I don't think we can fight this. I don't think we need to fight it. I'm annoyed by it, but what are you gonna do?
Well, maybe confidential transactions with a mixer, and that's going to make it much more private.
Yeah, but like those people like don't care about confidentiality or like if Bitcoin was fungible, they will find a way to use it in a non-fungible way to make NFT. I don't think there is any way to stop them, even with confidential assets.
Yeah, but this begs the question why this is not being done on Monero or Zcash.
So there is no reason, because Zcash can be you can do it without by using non-shielded address. I think it's just like Bitcoin is the most popular. That's why they do it. Like why they don't do it on Litecoin?
They do.
I don't know
about
Monero.
But it's not super popular.
yeah, yet I hope it become.
That would actually be fun. But interestingly, so what's happening with Litecoin is proving that this medium of exchange narrative is not as strong as we think, because the usage has gone up about 10x in the last 5 years or something, but the price hasn't. So there is no real correlation between the transaction volume that's happening every day. If people don't actually hold it and it doesn't become scarce, and there's not increasing demand as a result of that. So there is some merit to this whole hodling meme, even if I try to disprove it sometimes and say it's kind of stupid if we never use our money. There seems to be some merit to it.
Yeah, I mean, never using your money is using your money. Like my point is that hoarding money is using money, because when you have saving, even if your money never move, like your behavior is changing. Like if your boss is threatening you to fire you, you can say, "Oh, I don't give a shit, fuck you." Like it's because you have money in saving, so you are kind of using this money without moving it. So holding, I think lots of when you say, oh, for people that say, oh, holding doesn't serve any purpose if you don't ever use your money, I will say, no, you use your money even if it doesn't move. Like the way you are behaving is different than if you didn't have this stack.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, since we talked about your past and the work that you've done previously to BTCPay and during BTCPay, we talked about some controversial topics today, which are pretty hot and may not be hot in 4 years if somebody listens to this, even though you never know what's going to happen. But I didn't ask you too much about the future. What's the future planning for you? Or what are you hoping that you're going to achieve in the next couple of years?
Frankly, I don't know. I don't know. My focus is really on BTCPay Server. I'm trying to be very responsive from people that are using BTCPay Server daily, and that can be the more people use BTCPay and are critical, the more interested I am, because I'm not a merchant myself. So I'm using BTCPay by myself, but like some part of BTCPay Server can be improved and I need like direct feedback from that. So I'm very happy to see that. I'm kind of interested into Nostr, how it's turning out. So Nostr, I was completely ignoring it for a long time, and I see it's still sticking around. And I've been to Nostrasia, Tokyo, and I saw some talk that kind of sold me to the idea. Like, do you know Nostr Connect Wallet? No, Nostr Wallet Connect. Does it ring a bell to you?
I heard about Wallet Connect, but not in the Nostr context.
Yeah, Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect. So basically, like it's done by the Nostr community. I don't know if it's directly related to Nostr or not, but they call it Nostr Wallet Connect. So it's kind of a protocol where you can connect your Lightning node, a protocol for pulling money out of your Lightning node. So if imagine that you have some web extension, you use Wallet Connect, and then you can use your wallet extension to connect to node to pull the money. But it's kind of standard. And the nice thing about this standard is that the Nostr community is kind of trying to develop interesting tools. So for example, Prism, I don't know if you have seen, but if you when you receive a money somewhere, you automatically forward at several places. So imagine that you are a streamer or a podcaster like you, people send you tip, and like a part of the tip go to the sponsor, part of the tip go to you. This type of things, like or like a subscription, for example, every day, like get $2 out of somebody, or if you want to support somebody on the long term, every day sending them $10 or something like that. Like it's kind of a use case that can be done. That some application are allowing to do, and they use this Nostr Connect wallet for doing that. And I'm kind of interested by this because we are all this community, this Nostr community that is building lots of infrastructure. And if I'm thinking if we are kind of integrating with their protocol, then you can combine you can combine with what we're doing in BTCPay Server and kind of like have a how can I say, explosion of combination of tooling that become possible and unlock some stuff that we did not thought about before. So I'm kind of interested by this. I don't know if it will happen. I don't know if it will be the direction that the market will take, but I find it interesting.
About Nostr Wallet Connect, I just want to add that it was built into LB, which is a very feature-packed Lightning wallet. It has lots of extensions and integrations. It also does identity. It does a lot of cool stuff. I've recorded an interview with the creator of LB, whose name is Michael Booman, and it's part of the podcast for anyone who's curious to check that out. But I'll let you continue. Talk more about your future plans, Nicolas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have long-term future plan. Like, I'm living day by day, like working my ass on BTCPay Server, like trying to reply to bugs, review PR, like I see how it goes. Like the only thing I can tell you, the direction of BTCPay Server we're taking these days, it's we noticed that if you want to reach hyper Bitcoinization, like you need to reach people locally. So, we are all connected on internet. When we go to conference, everybody know each other because we are connected on Twitter and we are connected internet. But most of adoption come from people that are locally connected. So, for example, retail merchants don't give a shit about Bitcoin on internet. They will never look a podcast about BTCPay Server, except if they got repeated by somebody else. But still, most of those people are interested into Bitcoin, but basically they don't want to put the hands in the dirt by themselves. Instead, they want to connect with what I call Bitcoin service provider. And to me, Bitcoin service provider need to be local people, like handled in local business. And in BTCPay Server, the direction we are taking right now is trying to make tooling to help those local Bitcoin service provider to make a profit by spreading Bitcoin locally. So an example we are kind of looking right now. So LSP, right? You know what
Lightning
LSP
service
is?
Provider, yeah.
Lightning service provider, yeah. Basically, they take care of channel management, they take care of liquidity, but every time there is a payment, they can take a cut. I don't like this model because there is only a few wallets around here in Lightning. Instead, I wished that those Bitcoin service providers that are locally onboarding people on Bitcoin do this role. And so BTCPay will provide them tool to do that. But on top of this, we those LSP can be in a good position to create what we call stable channel. Did you heard about that? Stable channels? Or DLC. So basically, a merchant doesn't want Bitcoin. Most of the time, they don't want to. It's not they don't want Bitcoin. They don't want to be exposed to the volatility of Bitcoin, right? And the common way of doing that people were using is that why don't they use Tether? But Tether is a shitcoin. I will tell it straight that Tether is a shitcoin. You are trusting somebody else that can be shut down, that can pull you. You don't want to trust that, and it's not Bitcoin. Instead, what you can do is if you have a Bitcoin service provider and you're a merchant, you connect a wallet between them. Like the merchants, route payment to the merchant. But what they can do an agreement that said, every time the price of USD go up, then every time the price of Bitcoin go up, then the merchants send money to the LSP and reverse. If the Bitcoin go down, then it's the reverse, and they both can settle every 5 minutes. Sending payment back and forth to protect against the volatility of Bitcoin. And this is a typical service that I think would interest merchants if it was technically simple, and that can work locally. So like the direction of BTCPay Server will be to empower local people to spread Bitcoin locally. That's our main objective, I would say.
SatoChip provides open source solutions based on smart card to assist you in your crypto journey. The hardware wallet lets you safely store your private keys within the tamper-proof chip memory, while Sato Dime allows you to create a barrier cold storage in 2 clicks thanks to its mobile app. And SeedKeeper is the ultimate hardware device to store and manage your seed phrases. Become self-custody with SatoChip. Your keys, your coins.
That's really cool because as far as I know, BTCPay still relies on a full node.
Yeah, so here is the thing: those LSP, those Bitcoin service provider will have a full node, of course. But I don't expect now. I try to go this route to expect to merchant to have their own full node, but I don't think it will happen. Instead, what we can do is, for example, so the BTCPay app that we are working on. So the idea is that the merchant has the keys on his device, but can use the infrastructure of the LSP for everything Lightning related. And we want to make it so that even if the LSP go down, then the merchant can connect to another LSP somewhere else to get back his money. And so that's the kind of direction we try to take. Like we really want to take this model of, okay, the end users, which are retail merchants, don't want to run a node, but they don't mind paying somebody that they know locally for the service of providing them Bitcoin service. But at the same time, we need to protect those Bitcoin service providers from legal liabilities, which means if they go bust, they should not lose the money of their merchants. So that's about what we are working on.
Yeah, and I can tell you that I have 4 sponsors for this season. 2 of them, and they're IVPN. IVPN is a VPN service that has been around for about 2 decades now, and they have adopted Bitcoin for almost 10 years for payments. And there's also, I don't want to say something wrong.
We're sponsored by them too.
There's also CryptoSteel, which has been around for 10 years designing metal backups. And both of them use BTCPay for their payments.
Yep. IVPN is also one of the sponsors. So
that's super cool. I had no idea we have this in common. I'm not sure about SatoChip. I haven't checked out how they process their payments. But let me... SatoChip, if you're into that.
I don't know them.
So they have the Sato Dime, which is like a card that you use for payments. And it's sort of like the Open Dime, but open source. It uses this smart card chip to enclose the secret. Let me see how you can pay here. Pay with Bitcoin. Oh, it's handled by Coinbase, so not very cool. I'm gonna tell them to use BTCPay. Maybe I can get you in contact. They're Belgian, so they speak French also.
Yes. With pleasure.
Yeah, we gotta put BTCPay everywhere.
Yep, spreading the word.
I'm not sure if I have any more questions at this time for you, Nicolas, except for what's your favorite Final Fantasy game?
That's all. So it's big. So I don't know if it's 7 or 8. Maybe 7 first, 8 second.
Really? 8? We spoke
Eight,
about Final Fantasy IX when we met in Prague, and I expected you to like that one.
Nine, I really loved it as well. But I think it's 7, 8, 9. Nine was one of my best as well. I really loved it. But I think all of them, when I was kid, I maybe finished them 5 times each. Maybe 7, I finished it 10 times. Like, it's really a game I played so much.
Did you unlock the Knights of the Round summon?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay.
I beat all the weapons. So yeah.
That's crazy. How did you know to do that? Were you using magazines or something?
Wait. The first time. So I don't remember if I used magazine or just internet. Like we had a website called jeuxvideo.com. So it was a French website very early on internet with all the video games tips. So maybe I saw that here, how to get a gold chocobo. But I think the first time I got it is that I beat the weapon in the desert, and from that I could get a golden chocobo, and then I could get the round of knights. The first time I think I did it that way.
Yeah, and there was another one in the submarine section. I'm not sure
So
if it was
it's the
weapon.
emerald weapon. Yeah, the emerald weapon was very tough to beat, but once you have like a round of knights, it's like doable. Okay, at the time I was kid, I got so much time on free time, so like I would spend days of trying to beat them, and so at one point by pure luck I will manage to get it.
Who was in your party when you were beating Emerald and Weapon?
I don't remember. My favorite at one point was I think it was Cloud, Barrett, and Red 13. Then in another game, I really liked Tifa and Yuffie. And the rest, I didn't really use them.
Oh, so you don't care about Sid or Vincent Valentine?
No, Sid and Vincent Valentine, I didn't choose them too much. No, I think I really like Tifa because her last limit was making lots of damage. Barrett as well. And Sid, I don't remember he was doing lots of damage for his last one. And Vincent, I didn't really like it. Like Kate Sis, I didn't really like him as well.
Oh yeah, I even forgot about Kate Sid.
What?
I even forgot about Kate Sith, even though he has an important role in the story.
Yeah.
I think his name is Reeve among the Shinra executives.
Reeves. Yes.
We're such nerds right now. I'm not sure how many people are still listening and caring about this, but Final Fantasy VII is a big deal for our generation.
Yes, very inspiring game.
Did you try the remake?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. The remake, I like it. Like, I think it's a great game. I would not say it's my favorite game ever. I think it's up to the expectation. I'm a bit disappointed about the strange shit they did with the Whispers. But maybe it has good justification in the next season. So I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, they're going to have a new release in early 2024. It's called Rebirth, and it seems like they're gonna bring back Zack Fair, who is the guy that Clouds thinks he is. I don't know if this is a spoiler for anyone. It's a game that has been around for 26 years. Wow, that's insane. 26 years since Final Fantasy VII came out. But it's really impressive. And let me tell you this before we end this call. I sometimes think that Bitcoin is Shinra.
Why?
So you have this giant idea about how to make energy more efficient, right? Then it provides to everyone a cheap and reliable way to generate electricity. Not just electricity, to make energy available to everyone. And it's not just that. It ends up having a space exploration program. It ends up having all the politicians under control. There's one point in the Shinra building where we meet the mayor of Sector 6 or Sector 9? I don't remember the name of the sector. But you meet the mayor and he's like, oh, I'm just a bureaucrat who's employed by Shinra to act like there's some...
Yeah, in the building, right? Yeah, in the big building is in the library, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one.
So it's definitely interesting when you think about this, that Bitcoin is Shinra, except that it's up to us to make sure it doesn't become evil and it retains its mission.
Yeah. I remember the old guy in the library in the QG of Shinra.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it back, so this is a spoiler once again, but it gets revealed later in the game that Shinra is not even the enemy. And it's actually the crazy alien DNA guy named Sephiroth. And he's the one who's actually a threat to the planet. Everything else is just like a blip on the radar.
Actually, it's more Genova.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main like the roots of the disaster is not even Sephiroth, it's Genova. Because Sephiroth become like this because he got injected with the Genova cells.
Yeah, but didn't Cloud also get that?
Yes, yeah, Cloud get that as well. I don't remember why Cloud managed to... because Cloud, like for the old game, is still like controlled by Genova because Genova kind of rewrote his memories. But I think it's when he finally fall into the river of life or something like this that he kind of become universal.
When she's trying to figure out his past.
Yes,
that's really messed up.
It's really Genova that is pulling the string all the time. Like trying to make the reunion to try to bring back the corps together. It's like it's always Genova the bad guy here.
I didn't think about this. I always thought, oh, it's Sephiroth. Okay.
That's why I don't know, but I feel like in the new Final Fantasy VII they will try to make Sephiroth a bit nicer in a way to try. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but. Not making him nicer, but at least make the people more understand that he's just a puppet of Genoa more than the main bad guy.
No, I honestly can't wait to play that. It's the only game on the PlayStation that I expect right now. Everything else is on the Nintendo side that I like. Are you also into Nintendo?
I don't play too much Nintendo these days. These days I'm playing Yakuza, the man that cannot be named on Yakuza. Like I really like Ryuga Gotoku studio. Like they are making games, so they are so good in recycling because basically it's always in Japan. It's always the same assets, but they always change the story. But somehow their story is like it's another level. Like it's really amazing story. So always looking forward for the game.
Did you like Final Fantasy X?
10, I liked it, but I won't say it's my favorite compared to 7, 8, 9.
Oh, really? I think 10 is my favorite, but it might be only because I played it first.
So also the 10, if you wanted to go 4, like finish 100%, it was tough. Way tougher than all the other one, I think.
Oh yeah, because you had a lot of other stuff. You had the arena where you could fight beasts, but you also had to learn a foreign language, the Albed, and there was a lot of stuff to do.
You had to beat the Aeon in the dark mode. I don't remember what they call that, but
oh yeah, Dark Aeons.
Dark Aeon, yeah, it was very tough. I never managed to finish 100. Yeah.
It's too much. I mean, the satisfaction is minimal because you can see what happens on YouTube, and once you see it, you're like, "Is this it? Someone spent like 100 hours to train for this, and that's all you get." Plus, to get the celestial weapons, they're ultimate in other games, but this is celestial weapons. There's You have to play Blitzball for Waka, and that sucks because Blitzball is a terrible mini game. And for Tidus's weapon, you have to dodge thunders like 50 times or something, or 100 times.
Yeah. It was too much.
Yeah, they went too far with that. But the story, I think, is my favorite, and the characters and that
The
love
story was good. Yeah. But maybe it's because I was more young. Maybe like 7, 8, 9 got more impact because of that as well.
Yeah. But 7, I agree with you, is a masterpiece. 8, I didn't get too much into it because I don't like the junction system. And I also hate the fact that if you play more and you grind a bit to level up, the monsters get tougher. So it makes no sense for you to even fight. You can just flee the fights.
So one time, like I decided to one playthrough of Final Fantasy VIII I did was I trained only one character up to level 100. Before going out the first time of the inside the university there is a place where there is a lot of monster. You can go to the training. I don't remember it's kind of a jungle in the university. You remember that?
Yeah, like a botanical garden or a jungle?
Yes, but it's kind of more botanical garden inside the university, and there is monster you can train there.
Oh, yeah.
And at the beginning of the game, I decided to kill all my character but Squall and bring him to level 100. And I grind until he reached level 100 only at this point. Then after I resurrect the 2 other character, and I did all the game so easy because all the monster were kind of average of the level, which Squall was 100. The other character was like level 5. So like the monster was very easy to beat, and like the boss always had the same level. The boss don't change. So the boss, I was just one-shotting them, so it was kind of fun. I also did one playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, where I grind until I could beat the snake. In the big snake. Or how do you call that? Before normally you need to take a chocobo and like traverse.
Space. And there's a desert part where there's a snake that chases you, and it's hard to avoid it.
Yes. So basically, I become strong enough to beat the snake.
I think that's just before you go to the observatory. What's it called?
Oh, it's way before.
Canyon?
Oh, no, it's way before. It's way before. It's after the first city is calm. Then after you need you need to go to the chocobo farm, and it's just next to the chocobo farm. So it's very at the beginning. So I grind until killing this snake. So it was kind of crazy.
Fort Condor is nearby.
Yeah, Fort Condor is a bit after us as well. So it was even earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. But now I know why you have so much patience to build BTCPay, because you did these crazy playthroughs with a lot of grinding and leveling up, and you were able to do it only in one section.
Yep,
it wasn't fun, but you enjoyed the process afterwards. That you could one hit most monsters.
Yes.
Was it also your gaming that got you into programming and coding?
Yes, I wanted to make games, so I tried to learn C, and it's what got me into. Yes,
I heard a similar story from Amir Taki this year when we were in Prague. We were having lunch together, and he said that he became a C++ coder after playing Tomb Raider on the PlayStation, and he was trying to insert some ASCII code into one of the serial ports to make Lara Croft, to reveal the boobs, to make her nude. And
it was possible. Like I always thought it was a myth.
He apparently read that in the magazine and he inserted the code and nothing happened and he was super frustrated. And at one point he was like, okay, I'm gonna build my own. And he picked up a C++ book on how to code, and that's how he became a developer. So it was Tomb Raider and frustration. I guess being a preteen wanting to see boobs, and he didn't see boobs, so he started coding to make his own, I guess.
Good motivation.
Yeah, it's interesting how our generation got into coding. Maybe the next one is gonna say, oh, I wanted to make this in Minecraft and Roblox or whatever.
Yes, it's possible, yeah. I wonder if the whole generation will... the one thing is that they have to learn way more layers than we had to. So in a way, it's like more difficult for them, even if there are more tools.
Yeah, I don't know. But when you think about it, it was much simpler 20 years ago than it is now. You don't know where to start. There's so much stuff out there.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you very much, Nicolas. This was so much fun. I feel like it wasn't work. It was just talking to you and finding out stuff.
I remember actually on the PlayStation, there was a... I had some stuff. You could plug it on some port of the PlayStation, and you could access the RAM of the PlayStation, and like change the content of the RAM, and that's how like you could cheat to some games.
Game Shark.
Game Shark. Yes. So I used that, but I don't think I knew what I was doing at the time.
Yeah. It was a way to insert cheat codes into games.
Yes.
But it was super nerdy. I guess you could get some presets in a book or something to be able to modify code.
Fun time.
Yeah. It should be super late in Japan right now. I'm happy that we got to do this.
No worry. I do often meeting with BTCPay Server at the end of the day, so it's not new.
Make sure you remind Cooks and Pavlonex where they started.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Nicolas. I'll see you later.
Okay. See you. Bye.